And y'all like my new little intro? I'm so proud of myself. Y'all like my little intro? I got an intro because I know that other intro I had, that little countdown y'all was making y'all dizzy. Ooh, my little beverage. Hold on. Come on in here. Come on in here. Let us know where you're viewing from. It's your girl, Attorney Simone, your legal bestie. And this is another episode of Girl, Is That Legal? Today, we're going to break down a few illegal hot topics. We've got a few on the docket. So for today's docket, we've got Tyreek Hill. We're going to talk about him and the Miami officer who used excessive force to drag him out of his car on his way to game day in Miami. He's a player for the Miami Dolphins. We're going to talk about Diddy and the cuckoo bird who just sued Diddy. It's like, I guess it's two cuckoo birds against each other. This morning they had a hearing, and I want to break down that hearing for you and what this really means in regular, everyday people terms. There's also the Paul Pierce, Shannon Sharpe situation. So with Shannon Sharpe had a little video I'll be playing for you guys where he was caught doing it to somebody. Basically on live, doing it to somebody on live. And people are now saying Shannon Sharpe should have been fired in the same way that Paul Pierce was fired back in 2021 by ESPN for doing something that was also a bit explicit. I'll have clips for you and we'll determine. I want to hear from the jury, you guys, whether you think the two were treated fairly. We're also going to talk about Jay-Z and the Super Bowl, and Lil Wayne's little feelings were hurt. Bless his little heart. Quite little. And I think that's basically what we got. Also later tonight at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, catch me right here on my channel on Court of Public Opinion with Al Reynolds, as well as the other attorneys on his panel today. We're going to be breaking down some legal topics for you as well. So let's go ahead and get on into it. Let me just check some of these comments. Hey, y'all. Let's see. Somebody said that hearing was wild. Yeah, it was very strange. Oh, okay. Stephanie, you are watching us from Vegas. We got Grayson's view from LA. Oh, there's so much. Thank you. Yes, I needed that new talk. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to start with Diddy. So with Diddy, guys, so Diddy had this hearing. Now, this gentleman here in this photo, this little cuckoo bird, has been in prison for quite a while. He is serving time for, I believe it's 14 counts of assault on a kid. Okay, so he's a little pedo, a little weirdo pedo. And he has claimed that Diddy touched his bottom back in the 90s. And that Diddy touched his bottom in the 90s. And more specifically, what he says is this. So here, Diddy was asked by a judge. Diddy's lawyers have asked a judge to set aside this $100 million default judgment that Mr. Booty Man has obtained. Okay. His name is Derek Lee Cardello Smith. He filed a lawsuit in June in which he alleged that when he was in his 20s, he had been assaulted by Combs at a hotel party in 1997. A circuit judge in a small Michigan rural town ruled in favor of this Booty Man due to the fact that Sean Combs didn't reply. Basically, Sean Combs' attorneys are saying, well, he didn't reply because he wasn't actually served. They're claiming that this gentleman submitted fraudulent paperwork and that he is not to be trusted. They said this is a convicted felon who is currently serving time in prison for kidnapping and assault, and that he has frequently filed frivolous claims. Oh, that's true. I found at least 4 different frivolous lawsuits filed by this guy who's got nothing but time on his hands because he's in prison. I'm going to play this clip for you because it just puts it all in context. But one of the interesting things that part of the reason why Diddy's legal team wants so urgently to get this default judgment set aside is because that little clever Booty Man, he didn't just get the default judgment. He also received what's called a temporary injunction. Injunctions prevent the other side, here Diddy, from doing something he would otherwise want to do. Here, it prevents Diddy from selling any of his real estate until this judgment is satisfied. Genius move on Mr. Booty Man. I'm calling him Booty Man because he is in prison for messing with people's bottoms and doing a bunch of other stuff that he had no business doing. But more specifically, let this be a lesson to anybody. If you're out there and you're trying to get a judgment or collect on a judgment from someone, you can absolutely try and file for a temporary injunction to prevent them from selling any assets that they have. You have to be specific on what you understand those to be. So, I don't know, an example of Christian Gold Walden. Those victims, if they were able to get a default judgment against him, as an example, they could then, for example, file for a temporary injunction that he can't sell any of his watches or Jennifer's ring, or I don't know, any of that. Now, Jennifer's ring is likely considered Jennifer's possession and separate. However, if it could be found that the ring was purchased with stolen money, she's going to have to give it up in the same way that Erica Kane, I believe was her name, Tom Giardi's his wife, received gifts from him using stolen money. Anyway, just a thought there. So here's a clip I'm going to play from, here we are, from Pam, the law intellect, our girl Pam. Pam got footage of today's hearing. Pam is also a Michigan-based attorney. And I just want you to see this. So what we're going to see here, this little sweet little booty man nut, this little nut bucket. Okay. This nut bucket here, this is the gentleman that is suing Diddy. I want you to hear what he tells the judge. Now, he is here. He has an attorney for a limited purpose. What that means is that attorney is basically doing this hearing and may not be doing anything else for him. And it's interesting. I always think, how are you able to get a lawyer when you're incarcerated for darn near life like this gentleman is here? And how are you able to pay for them? Well, I can envision after this guy on his own got this default, he was probably able to get an attorney to say, hey, you can take this on contingency fee. And if the question is, if you take this on contingency, I will pay you a percentage of whatever we're able to collect. So I could see an attorney coming in and saying, all right, I'll take this on. You've already got $100 million verdict, and maybe I can get 30 or 40% of whatever I can collect. Now, I wouldn't take this because this man is clearly cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and here's why. Here's the clip.
All right, excellent. All right, so we have...
Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
I don't mean to interrupt. It's just there's been some circumstances that have taken place since last week, and I wanted to make sure that you're aware of it as soon as I discover it. Monday, we had the judgment, and then Tuesday, Warden Chris King, Inspector Jensen, and several other staff members pretty much stated to me that they're going to remove me from general population. No legit reason, no misconducts, nothing about the high-profile nature of the case, simply because they want to get some green out of me for potential green. They said, if I agree to that, they'll put me back in general population, or otherwise they're going to take me, a level 2 prisoner with no misconducts and no reason to be out of general population. As you can see, I'm in shackles. They're going to take me and place me, and I wasn't in shackles in any of our last court appearances. They're going to place me in either Ionia Bellamy Creek, Alger, or Oaks Correctional Facility, and these are level 4 prisons to make things harder for me to not only prosecute this case, but also to prosecute my other cases. I'm locked in a room on a floor with a whole bunch of other prisoners that are there for their sanctions, their citations, their misconducts. There's literally no reason for me to be in it, and their reasons are complete lies. I've been in there since Tuesday night at 6:30. Not able to use the phone, none of the level 2 privileges that I earned in a whole year. I just wanted that preserved on the record. And today they also just stated to me an hour ago that they're going to be taking my visitor logs, my phone records, and visitor logs, phone records, and some other documents, and presenting those to attorneys Fink and Bird, and also that they have the ability to alter things and alter documents. And that is something that will greatly interfere and impact this case, should this case go to trial, or should this case...
Hey, don't shut that door. If you shut that door, I get really bad feedback and no audio. So, go ahead, finish up.
They want to alter the visitor logs. They want to alter the phone records. They want to alter all sorts of documents to change the outcome of this case in Mr. Combs' favor. And all of these things are completely unethical. They're not legal. I'm a prisoner that was raped by this man's client. sexually assaulted by him, had my money taken from me, and now they're doing, there's a lot of dirty moves that are taking place here at the prison linked to this. I just wanted that on the record, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Cardello Smith.
Okay. So basically, he's alleging this conspiracy theory. And importantly, Caliente 213 is making a good point. She is stating, tell the whole story, please. Diddy visited him in prison years ago. Diddy offered him $2.3 million to settle years ago. That is absolutely his claim. And what Diddy's lawyers argued later on in this hearing was they said, and this was just an emergency hearing to deal with the restraining order that is preventing Diddy from selling any of his properties. Why? It's an urgent matter because Diddy currently has his property on the market for, I believe, 60 million. But he's got his LA residence on the market right now. He needs to sell it to be able to pay his legal fees. So, of course, his lawyers are urgently trying to have this removed so that he can consummate a sale. And this point that Caliente is making is that, yes, that this gentleman here is claiming that Diddy visited him in order to not pursue these claims years ago, and that he offered him 2.3 million to set up. Now, I guess he didn't take it because he felt like his case was worth more. But what doesn't make sense is this allegedly happened in 1997. Now, I don't know why, if you're sitting in prison, you wouldn't accept 2.3 million there. But what Diddy's attorneys are saying is they went and received copies of this man's visitor log, and that never happened. Said it never happened. In fact, he's saying that Diddy offered that money at some point this year. So they received, so let me clarify, that the assault happened back in the day, but that more recently Diddy offered him this money and visited him. I find that hard to believe, because if Diddy had been up there in this little podunk town visiting him in this little prison, I feel like we would have all known, because you have to show ID to get into a prison, right? So he would have shown ID. The workers in the prison, everybody, it's Diddy, y'all. Everybody and their mama would know that Diddy was up in this prison. People would have their phones. Okay, if people got phones in the jail, they definitely have phones in the intake for the visitors. Somebody would have known that Diddy was there. And let's be honest, people like Diddy, they don't one-on-one handle stuff like this. Now, it would not be beyond me that Diddy would offer to settle something and that he secretly throws money at problems all the time. I don't deny that, but I do deny that he personally himself went there, said these things. Oh, he's allegedly also said that if this guy didn't accept the settlement, he was just going to default on the lawsuit. Don't nobody say that. Nobody says that, especially on a lawsuit you haven't even been served with. But basically, Diddy's legal team's point is that this never happened. Diddy never met this man. Diddy certainly never visited the jail. They pulled the jail logs for this man's visitation, and Diddy was nowhere on there. There were two people that had visited him a total of 3 times. One person came twice. One of those people was his lawyer. Okay, this man ain't got no friends. Apparently he ain't got no family. Nobody cares about this man. Okay. Nobody wants to see him. Nobody wants to see you, Otis. Nobody wants to see you, Mr. Derilio Smith, Booty Man, whatever his name is. Whatever it was, whatever that man's name. Oh, here it is. Derek Lee Cardello Smith. Okay, Mr. Cardello Smith. Nobody wants to see you, sir, because you're nasty. You're nasty and you're a pedo. So I don't know. You guys think, but again, part of his position is that the documents were erased, documents have been hidden, and that there is this conspiracy to hide evidence in his case so that he's unable to prove it. But again, remember, he's filed multiple frivolous lawsuits against other entities, so much so that in federal court, a federal court judge sanctioned him and basically told him, you can't file nothing else in my court because you play too much, effectively. So I want to hear what you guys think. Oh, let me see in the comments. He's moved so many times in prisons, y'all. He didn't even know he was a monster for 30 years. Please. That could be possible. All of this is possible. You have to have prior approval for a visitor. Oh, excellent point, Mama Brown Mama. Because here's what happened. So what this gentleman, Mr. Smith, submitted to the court as proof that Diddy visited him was a list of who he said can visit him. Okay. And so Diddy's team is like, that doesn't show Diddy came. That just says you put Diddy's name on the list. Absolutely right. Thelma Jordan said, sounds like he's jumping on the money train. Caliente said, who believes Diddy or his team? Diddy has no integrity. Nobody does. Nobody believes him. But I do like to put both sets of facts together and to determine where do we think the truth is closer to being. I don't believe anything Diddy says 100%. And I also don't 100% believe any plaintiffs because there's usually some gray area. He has absolutely been a monster for tuning in. Somebody, Lily said, Caliente, are you in court right now? This is an informative channel. Let the lawyer explain. The plaintiff has more holes in his story than Swift cheese, says Southwest Houston, Texas. Oh my goodness. That is not untrue. All right, so here we go. All right, so the next up on the docket, we're gonna go to let's do Mr. Paul Pierce, Shannon Sharpe. They got it's a little wild going on over there. Here we are. Ooh. No. All right.
Series.
Let me do this. It's actually this one. Where did it go? Hold on. One quick second. So with Shannon Sharpe. So Shannon Sharpe, Lord have mercy. Shannon Sharpe recently got into a little situation wherein this is not it. Hold on a second. Get the clip. Shannon Sharpe got into a situation where he was found. He was on live, okay, doing it to somebody. Her name is Michelle, by the way. You'll see in the clip. So he was doing it to this girl, Michelle, and he was having a good old hi-ho time, in private. This was supposed to be like in his house or something like that. And while doing so, he accidentally, in some type of way, went live. And here we go. He accidentally goes live. When he goes live, we can hear all the goings on of the goings on. Okay, we hear him doing it, and I don't know why this isn't popping up the way it was before. Okay, hold on. Let's see. I got to get this video for you because I need y'all to hear all of this foolishness. Now, bless his heart. Now, Shannon Sharpe says that, I'm sorry. Ocho Cinco says Shannon Sharpe needs to work on his cardio because a component of the issue was it was quite fast. It was a very fast rendition. Here we go. It is. Bless his little heart. Her name is Michelle. Watch. I'm live. This is live. Papa, I need us to hurry up. You get the gist. He goes on to call her by her name, calls her Michelle, and said, "You're doing a good job, Michelle. You're doing a good job. All right, here we go. Oh. And then it concludes. End scene. Okay. Now, some people have said there's no way this was a mistake. Now, Shannon claims it was a mistake, but others have said there's no way. You cannot make a mistake like that because you got to hit all these different buttons in order to go live, right? You got to hit accept. You have to something else. And then there's a thing that pops up and says, are you sure you want to go live? Right. And in the end, others are saying, did he do this on purpose? Was he doing this for likes? I feel like Shannon's show is so successful. He doesn't have to do something like this for likes. He has so much going on. There we go. He's got so much going on that like he gets 100 million likes from some of the here we go. From some of the most basic even video clips, right? But he's got the Cat Williams interview, he's got Monique, he's got Amanda Seales, and so many. I just don't think this is what he wants to do. However, people are comparing it to this is what's his name? Paul Pierce being fired from ESPN. Now I'm going to play a clip for you. This is the video that got Paul Pierce fired. I'm going to make it larger so you can see it all and listen to the audio here too.
Come on, man. That's on you, man.
Those are strippers and they're bottoms.
Monica, you should be here. You could make some money, girl. Stop playing. Monica, what you doing? You guys throw some chips, man. If you in LA, come through.
There's
If you in LA, Monica, come through. You know what I'm saying? Where's she at? Fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars can't even throw a fucking chip.
You see that? Okay, so there's tits and boobs flying everywhere. Multiple women. Now, and this was actively while Paul Pierce was on ESPN. The Shade Room says back in 2021, Paul Pierce was fired from ESPN after he went live showing a room full of half-dressed dancers, strippers. He basically had his own at-home titty park, okay? So he brought the stripper club to his home, so he had an at-home titty park while he was smoking what appeared to be a little ganja. So we've got an illegal substance, ganja, and a titty park being run out of his home. All right. So I think the two are distinctly different, but I want to hear your thoughts in the chat. Do you think that Shannon Sharpe should have also been fired for accidentally going live, whether it was accident or not? Oh, Afra Singh says, I went live by accident before and immediately stopped. I've actually done that too. Elite Leo says not for likes, but he's been surrounded with GAY rumors. Oh, so some people were saying that they thought he also did this to try and do away with the gay rumors. Well, here's the thing. This ain't going to get rid of a gay rumor unless you can prove to me you didn't put it in her bottom. Because if you put it in Michelle's bottom, then you're not proving anything to me, buddy. You might still like to be over in that gentleman pond, just pretend with the ladies. Maybe you want Miss Michelle to ungay you because as a woman herself, like a lot of men want me to ungay them. Okay, I attract a lot of gay guys. I think it's because I'm pretty and so are they. And I would just like to say that, first of all, while I can do all things through Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, ungaying a man is not one of them. Okay, it's simply not one of them. So I just say that to say, South of the West said, vomit. I just say that to say, although the gay rumors about Shannon Sharpe have been flooding around, there's also a lot of other rumors that he's quite good at what he does in the bedroom. So I'm just going to say that. I don't know personally. Someone said, MD said, did he want to be fired? No, I definitely don't think so. It said Jordan stopped the live once he couldn't reach Shannon, and then Jordan put out the alleged hacked statement. I don't know who Jordan is. Yeah, I'm not sure. Someone said, I never thought Unc was gay. Who's to say? I think some people have those allegations. Yes, he wears tight pants, but I've seen in the industry, in the entertainment industry, when you're never tied to a specific woman for any given amount of time, then those rumors frequently will be attached to you because most people assume that you're going to have a girlfriend or a wife. To my knowledge, he's never had a wife. He does have children. So he's got, a children's mom, but his kids are grown now. I just think it's really ridiculous these days that just because a man doesn't necessarily want you, people want to throw those gay rumors, especially when he's great looking, fit, and has a lot of female options. So in the end, I want to hear your thoughts in the chat. Do you think the two should have been treated differently? Because ESPN has come out and said they're not firing Unc. Not at all. And I don't think that he should. It's distinctly different here. He was in the privacy of his home with a woman. You don't see him or the woman on the screen. Whereas everyone knows ESPN is a family-friendly channel, right? They own the Disney Channel, they own ABC, and Paul Pierce is out here. I don't remember if he was married at the time, but he was literally out here wilding on live. You've got multiple women, and especially in 2021 was a very sensitive time for the Me Too movement. That was really dangerous of him because he could have been setting himself up for accusations that were untrue. So it was a bad look all the way around. Do I think he should be permanently fired from them? No, I think perhaps a suspension, but I'm also not familiar with any prior issues that ESPN may have had with him, because this might have just been the final straw in the camel's back, because he is known for doing a lot of stupid stuff. Now, all right, let's go on next. Next up, Jay-Z and the Super Bowl. So people about sick of Jay-Z. Yeah, people. They getting sick of All right, so with Jay-Z in the Super Bowl, so the issue is this. The Super Bowl this year is in New Orleans. And what rapper is more associated with New Orleans than Lil Wayne himself? Well, Lil Wayne recently took to social media expressing his complete and total disappointment. He was devastated by the fact that he was not selected to perform in the halftime show. In fact, let me see if I have a clip here. Here is a clip of Lil Wayne expressing his disappointment.
That hurt a lot. You know what I'm talking about? It hurt a whole lot. I blame myself for not being mentally prepared for a letdown. And for just automatically mentally putting myself in that position like somebody told me that was my position. So I blame myself for that. But I thought that was nothing, I thought that was nothing better than that spot and that stage and that platform in my city. And so it hurt. It hurt a whole lot. But y'all are fucking amazing. It made me feel like
There we go. So the gist of it is he was devastated and so forth. But at the same time, when Wayne was giving these sentiments, he seemed high as a kite. High as a kite. High as a kite. He's also, it's clear that he's more delayed than he was back in the day. Is the music sharp? Absolutely. Is he still talented? Absolutely. So part of me was wondering if perhaps his ability to perform in the same ways while on drugs could possibly be part of the decision. But most of why people are upset with Jay-Z is because it has now been revealed that this was Jay-Z's decision. Here we go. Because specifically, the halftime show producer, Mr. Jesse Collins, he shows love to Lil Wayne and he backs Jay-Z's decision to have Kendrick Lamar perform. He said it's a decision that Jay makes and Jay has always picked right. It says that Kendrick Lamar was picked to take the stage this year. Folks online and rap peers shared opinions about New Orleans native Lil Wayne deserving the spot. Nevertheless, Collins is showing love and support to Wayne, Kendrick, and even Jay-Z, who is responsible for the decision. I want to hear from the chat. What do you guys think? Now, keep in mind, one thing that's interesting about that Super Bowl halftime performance, it's unpaid. So this is not about money. This ain't about money at all. Ooh, thank you so much from Celebrity Scandalous. She said, I'm taking the same stance on his behalf that he took on Black Lives Matter. Ooh! Ooh. Ooh. When Lil Wayne said he said he ain't gonna say. He said he's staying out of it. Celebrity Scandalous said she's staying out of it. And I respect that. Love you and thank you for supporting the channel. Yeah. Well, I think that's a good little place to transition. Abida says, I don't recall Super Bowl artists having to be from the hosting town. They don't. Says, I'm really surprised by the uproar. Somebody said, not somebody, but here we go. Love Angel said, he can't carry no show. And he does get, now see, Caliente, I agree with you there. He gets high on several drugs at once. Now, I got to tell you, maybe one day in the story time, I'll tell you the story about how when I was in law school, I got put out of law school because I was on his tour bus and the cops came on there and somebody was loopy, and high on some substances. That'll be on the members only section. I'll release that one soon. But yeah, so in the end, you don't get paid for the Super Bowl. It would be a free performance. Yes, Wayne is from there. So traditionally, you have someone perform who is associated with it. So like when it was Detroit, there was Eminem, and then there was Dr. Dre, etc. When it was Miami, I think it was Pitbull and it was Flo Rida and others. But people were upset when it was Miami that they didn't have Uncle Luke come on there. So now there's still room for Lil Wayne to come on there, but I don't know that Wayne and Kendrick have any songs or there's any mesh there, but it would have been awesome. I'm saying this as someone who grew up in New Orleans. It would have been great to have at least a segment or a montage of New Orleans related artists. It's not too late for that. That can happen. But hopefully enough bridges were not burned. Simone, we would have such fun vacations. Oh, I would love that. Oh yeah, I am actually hosting Black MLK Ski Weekend. You don't have to be Black, white people can come too. MLK Ski Weekend this year, which is literally MLK weekend. It falls over the MLK holiday. It's going to be in Toronto. So much fun. I'm going to start dropping the information for you to book your rooms there. And again, Black people, white people, everybody's invited. Also, by the way, I decided recently I need some white friends, and it's really hard to make them as an adult. So if you're a Caucasian watching the show, please DM me on Instagram and just say, hey, I want to be your white friend, because I've got a lot of questions about what you guys have going on, especially with the election and all. And I'd like to be able to ask it in a private environment. And so you can ask me Black people questions. I'll ask you white people questions. And I don't know if you have a family reunion or like what exactly you people do, but I would like to come. Okay. All right. Transitioning now. I think the next one and the last one that we have left on the docket today, we did the Paul Pierce, Diddy. Yes. Oh, Tyreek Hill. Let's go, guys. We're going on over to Tyreek Hill. This story broke my heart and pissed me off all at the same time. So here we go. So Tyreek Hill is a player on the Miami Dolphins. And Tyreek Hill was on his way to one of his games when he's pulled over by an aggressive rogue police officer. This officer claims that he pulled him over for having too dark of tint, that it was in driving unsafely, and a lack of a seatbelt. Now, let me tell you, you a damn lie. Officer, you a damn lie. How is the window too dark, but you could see he didn't have a seatbelt on? I'll wait. You were pulling him over because he was a Black man in an extremely expensive car, and you saw a target. So he pulls him out of the car, drags him to the ground, uses excessive force. I'm going to play the clip for you, and then I'm going off.
Hey, keep your window down. Keep your window down. I'm gonna get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car. Give me that. Get out of the car. Give me that. Break that freaking window.
He's trying to get
out of the car right now.
He's trying to get the window down.
We're not playing this game. Get out. 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 What part of law don't you understand? Hey, Drew, I'm getting arrested, Drew. I'm getting arrested.
On his way to work.
I'm getting arrested, Drew. I'm getting out, bro. God damn, twin. When we tell you to do something, you do it. You understand?
I'm getting out.
You understand? Not for you, but what we tell you. You're a little fucking confused.
I'm getting out, bro.
Too late.
Chill,
Too late.
All right, bro. Take
Too
me to
late.
jail, bro. Do what you gotta do, bro.
We are. We will.
Good, bro.
It is good.
Hey, Drew, hey,
Don't worry about it. I hung up the phone. You stop crying.
bro. Y'all.
Hey, keep your window down. Keep your window down. I'm gonna get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car. Give me that. Get out of the car. Give me that. Break that freaking window. Get out of the car.
All right, so you guys saw that clip there. So apparently this officer, Danny Torres, who's accused of using excessive force in this instance, has been investigated 13 times in the past for this very same thing. 13 times, guys. This is absolutely ridiculous and uncalled for. Now it says Tyreek's arrest has already been, who is accused of using excessive force during Tyreek's arrest has already been suspended 6 times before. Some of those instances have been due to excessive force. Additionally, he has been investigated a stunning 13 times for excessive force. He remains on administrative leave, which sometimes means paid, or it means after they get clear. They may not get paid at that time, but they get their back pay. While this is investigated, Tyreek has demanded his firing after accusing him of using excessive force. Very proud of Tyreek. And so I'm gonna go off for a minute and tell you my thoughts. Before I do, it says the mental fit check. Thank you so much for the super chat. Hey, remember me from the bar in New Orleans with Mims? Yes. You filed a complaint and you were waiting on your rights to. Yes. Oh, mental fit check. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm going to come back to that before we leave. All right, great. Let me tell you something. I'm so sorry, Tyreek, that this happened to you. But I hope that perhaps you can take your experience and use this to be a spokesperson for this issue. And I'm tired of hearing politicians talk about we need to change the laws. Yes, we do. We absolutely do. But the true issue, y'all, the issue is the power of the police unions. And that is going to take years to undo due to the fact that they have what's called collective bargaining agreements. It's similar to, like, you know how flight attendants every so many years they strike? It's because they have a bargaining agreement that says this is what we're paid, these are the rules, blah blah blah, this is what we can and can't be fired for and how you have to go about it. And this stays in place for like 4 years. Then you can come up at the end of that term and renegotiate terms, right? With the police union, one of their biggest powers is that when they whoop your tail, their legal fees are covered. And their legal fees aren't just covered. Their lawyers covered, bail is covered. They don't lose a dime when they whoop your tail, which is why they keep doing it. So what I've been proposing, what I scream about when I talk with other attorneys, especially Black lawyers, about police reform. Yeah, it's great to get the laws in place, but we're still going to have these long-term 5-year, 10-year bargaining agreements that say what the laws are. And that actually dictates whether or not you can even fire someone for this and how you have to go about it. But the workaround, I think, is this. What if police officers were treated like the rest of us? In this context, I mean this. What pays for police officers' legal fees and all of this is an insurance policy. Every time they get sued for excessive force, either criminally or civilly, there's an insurance policy that kicks in and says, we're going to pay to hire them a lawyer. We're going to pay to defend them, blah, blah, blah. And guess who pays for that policy? Us, the taxpayers. So what if they were treated just like drivers who were dangerous? If I get in a wreck and I hit 4 people in a year, what happens? Insurance company drops me. Same thing. What if they had the same thing for officers? If each year officers had to be evaluated, you simply look at their personnel file and the insurance company comes through and says, yes, we'll renew these guys who are safe, who don't have excessive force, if they've been investigated, whatever, we'll renew these guys. These guys, you got to fire them. Or if you want to keep them on, that's fine. They just won't be insured. The reason why I believe this could be a legitimate solution is this right here. If you remember back in, back when there was George Floyd in Buffalo, there were these police officers who pushed a 75-year-old man, okay? They pushed him down, and when they did so, he busted his head straight open. Here's a clip.
An arbiter has cleared 2 police officers in Buffalo who faced criticism for pushing a 75-year-old protester to the ground. That incident in June was caught on camera during a protest over the death of George Floyd.
All right, so there you guys, you see there, this is the incident I'm talking about where he pushed him down. Well, after that happened, the officers, these officers, a bunch of them then resigned. Actually, every single officer that was covering protests in Buffalo resigned. It was like 57 of them. They resigned. Now, everyone thought initially, oh, this was a show of support for the 2 officers that were arrested for pushing the 75-year-old man, busting his head open. But under further investigation, it was discovered, no, that wasn't why. These guys resigned because the police union said legally the insurance wasn't going to cover them and pay their legal fees if they whooped the tail of any other protesters. Specifically, this officer says, I don't understand why the union said it's a solidarity thing. I think it sends the wrong message that we're backing our own, and that's not the case, said one officer. He says, we quit because our union said they aren't legally backing us anymore. So why would we stand on the line for the city with no legal backing if something were to happen? It has nothing to do with us supporting them. In other words, if they got to use their own money, if they got to dip into their family funds to defend themselves from these aggressive, excessive force claims, in the same way that Tyreek Hill has to hire a lawyer to get these charges dismissed. If they got to reach in their own pocket and it's not the insurance policy that's going to cover it, if they're going to be inconvenienced, they're not going to do it anymore. That's all that we've asked you to do, cops. Quit whooping our ass and making us pay for it as taxpayers. So I think this is a good time to start voicing our concern. And maybe in the future, instead of simply saying defund the police, how about we can talk about a new form of insuring the police? I have no problem with insuring the good ones. Do mistakes happen? Of course. But the ones who keep whooping us, not only are they allowed to do this, but then they're able to move to another city, right? And have no issue. Move to a city and whoop our behinds from a smaller town. Now let's think about it from the insurance context, right? If they're insured in the same way as drivers, which is you look at someone's driving record, here you look at their policing record. Now, if I hit 4 people and I got State Farm, you think I could just go over to Liberty Mutual and they're like, okay, fine. No, they're going to look at that record and say, hail to the gnaw. Not only that, Liberty Mutual said, State Farm dropped you because you were dangerous. We won't insure you. Now you got to get another job. I don't know. Go work at a warehouse. Be a delivery person. Make an OnlyFans. Sell feet pictures. We don't care. Just stop whooping our tails. Okay. Similarly here, if it was a system where the insurance companies that insure the police departments simply went in there annually and said, hey, these guys are too dangerous, which does happen in some cities and instances, right? If they were to do that, you can't move from one town to another because the insurance company is like, nope, you were dropped for being dangerous. We're not covering you. Period. This isn't rocket science. Period. And furthermore, I've done some research on this because I'm super passionate about it, as you can see. And in my research, I found that there is actually a small Texas town where that very thing happened. I believe it was Travelers Insurance came in and saw that they had all these different claims and lawsuits against this small, tiny town police that they literally, they could not get their insurance renewed. The insurance company said, if you want us to renew, you must disband this police force, rehire and retrain everybody. When that happened, the instances of police violence on civilians diminished. So I don't know why we cannot do this on a large scale. I think I know why. Actually, no one's been talking about it. Let's talk about it. So perhaps in this new election, with this new administration that we're going to have, whether Kamala wins or whether Trump wins, let's talk about some realistic police reform that we can do. And here's the thing. If we do it this way, everybody wins. The insurance company doesn't like insuring dangerous situations, right? They don't like you actually having to pay out a claim. And taxpayers don't want to pay higher premiums for cops that keep whooping our tail. I'm over it. This is ridiculous. I am so sorry this happened to you, Mr. Hill. But perhaps this can be an opportunity where you could be a spokesperson. You could speak to this and maybe we can get some action. I'm going to read a few of these comments. And then we're going to wrap it up for today's docket. Because, child, I'm sick of this. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, for the super chat. Okay. Let me see what we got here. The nursing game said nurse practitioners can't do any of the mess that exactly another great example. If you were a nurse and you continue to have claims made against you, they do what? They'd say, sorry, you can be a nurse all you want, but you won't be insured. And therefore, if you can't be insured, you're not going to nurse. Same thing happened. If the same thing happened to police, which is you can police, but if anybody sues you, you're going to have to mortgage your house. You're going to have to sell your car. You're going to have to buy a lawyer. You're going to have to pay your own bail. What you think they're going to do? Baby, they working at the post office, okay? They quitting. They're quitting. They're going to do something. They're going to find something else to do. And then Celebrity says, agreed, I sued a corporation and the manager harassing me individually, she was shocked and had to get her own attorney. And yes, they don't think about that. When it impacts them, they care. I'm a big believer that you have to fight capitalism with capitalism. In a capitalist society like this where money rules, when you cut off the source of funds, you cut off access to the dangerous behavior. That's how I practice as an attorney. That's how I'm able to represent and protect the little guy against the big guy, is I figure out what's the money source and then how do we tap it to prevent this dangerous behavior from occurring again. All right, what else we got here? Except one of the candidates does not want reform Exactly. And wants to promote immunity. Onyx said, I'm surprised the insurance companies don't do that because they don't like to pay real claims. So here's what they've been doing instead. What they'll do. So for example, City of Chicago, when you keep doing that, what they do is they raise the deductible. So like the first $100,000, if you have an issue with a Chicago cop, the city of Chicago is responsible for the first $100,000 versus other cities. Maybe the deductible would only be $5,000, $1,000. For Chicago, it's $100,000. That means you taxpayers. It also means that like if it's under 100, they don't have to report it to the insurance companies. So that's one of their workarounds. But in the end, it's win-win for everybody. So these same insurance companies, when George Floyd happened, right? Everybody had these little ads. We stand with the Black community. Show me. Where my gavel go? Show me. Show me you stand with us by helping us enact this. So for example, one way corporations could help with this. Let's say Amazon. Amazon is insured. Whatever insurance company is insuring Amazon, that is a huge account. They do everything in their power to maintain that account. If Amazon were to say, hey, we no longer want to use an insurance company where their underwriters underwrite dangerous police unions, we've got an ally. We need the big corporations, the Googles, the Amazons, those to come and say, hey guys, we support you and we think this is good for society as a whole. We're not going to use insurance companies that use underwriters that do this to show our solidarity. You think they won't change? Because everybody wants Amazon's business. So that's me on my little soliloquy. That's me on my little soliloquy. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to catch me later tonight on Court of Public Opinion right here on this channel. Hit that like button. Oh, thank you, Lily. This page deserves traction and more subs. Let YouTube know you're here for Attorney Simone. And share this. If you've got any loved ones, if anybody knows Tyreek Hill, please send him this little clip. I know I'm just a little YouTuber, but I'm serious. I really do want to help. Let's see what else we got. Except one of the candidates. Tell it, Simone. All right. Thank you guys again for joining. It's Attorney Simone, your legal bestie, tuning in here to Girl, Is That Legal on YouTube.